Hi and welcome to my Playhouse, and today I have promised a lot of people to do a follow-up video on the Tiny PC, the little Lenovo M93 that I have over here, and we upgraded that with a new, more powerful and more power-hungry processor. It went from the Intel i3-4170T to the 4170 without the T, and I better check that. It's tiny. Yeah, 4130 to the 4170. The 4130T used 35 watts, and this 4170 has a TDP, apparently that's what it's called, of 54 watts. I did some benchmarking and the results was rather weird because I didn't get the benchmark that I really wanted, hoping for. And a lot of people said to me that it's drawing too much power. This little 65 watts power supply is not able to power the device. So we're gonna measure that. And some of the same people said that it might be a thermal thing, that the processor becomes too hot and it will be throttling. Apparently the processor, if it becomes over 72 degrees Celsius, it will step down in how much it's doing. So if it comes over that, it will be throttling, which means that it will turn on and off, but it will throttle down in speed to not overheat itself. We're gonna start with the power measurement to see how much this little beast draws. I need to power it down before I can plug this in. I don't like just pulling the power from it. I'll start there and I'll bring you back. Okay, I have fished this power strip out behind the monitor, and I have a power meter here. This is a Danish version. It's called an energy molar, and it goes up to 2300 watts. We use 220 volts, so it's not the same power meter as you would see in the United States, for example. Right now it says that I have 234 volts. So let's power in the machine. Right there. And we can press. We should go closer, shouldn't we? There we are. I can see the machine has booted. So now we're gonna get how much it's using. We're not doing anything, so we'll have the idle. It's using 0.09 amps, and it's 26 watts, 28. So I'll just log in and see what happens when I do that. There, it's doing a little bit. 20 watts. Just jumped down to 2 watts. That's not a lot. So 23, 30 watts. Awesome. It's not using a lot, huh? I would have expected it to use a lot more. Let's run a benchmark on this. Okay, a lot of people requested that I should try the Cinebench for benchmarking the computer. And well, I tried it at work actually. I was reading the comments and I thought, oh, I better try this. Everybody says that it's so good. I was really disappointed in this. One thing it does better, it looks cool while it's doing it, but the results was really, you didn't get very much, enough rambling. It's the CPU we're gonna be testing here, so I'm gonna run this CPU thing. It starts. So we're gonna zoom in on the power over here. 26 watts. 24. And it's running over here. And it's not doing very bad either. 24 watts. I can hear the fan speed went up. 26 watts, 32 watts. Still 26 watts. Okay, got the results. 355 CB. Don't know what that means, but it was actually more than 26 watts that was interesting in this test. Now you get the results of how fast this computer is, and there is a little bit of comparisons down here. It's really far down. Actually, it's kind of fun that the processor that they use up here is one of the processors in my server. So I have like 3 servers with that configuration, so that's kind of cool. It doesn't seem like it's the wattage that gets this machine. The next thing that I should test was the temperature, and I was recommended this CPU ID hardware monitor. So let's start that, and it needs a yes over here, so cool. So when you start this CPU ID hardware monitor, there is a lot of parameters. You get a lot of information, so that's kind of a neat tool. And down here is the core temperature. Right now core 1 is 48-49 degrees, and oh, that was core 0, and core 1 is a little bit hotter. There is minimum and there is maximum. The maximum temperature that it has hit is 52 and 53 degrees Celsius. So in the behind here we will run the test again on the CPUs, run that, and we will pick up our program over here, and we will see the temperatures, and we already hit way over the 72 degrees mark. Right now they're 80, 81, 87, 80. So if it's throttling at 72 degrees, it will be throttling already. It got very hot very fast, and the fan is going up. We're now over 3000 RPMs. So it's trying to cool it down. Couldn't really see if the squares over here, if they slowed down any, but they might have if the CPU slows down. But yeah, 91 degrees Celsius should be a bit to the high side. Okay, it's done. Temperature is going down again, but it hit 92 degrees Celsius and the fan speed went up to 3970 RPMs, which might be maximum for that little fan in there. So it could definitely be a heat problem. Yeah, we actually have some clock frequency here. We could try and see if it slows down if we run this again. Okay, I'm running the test again, and I've been watching the clock frequency if that's the one that goes down. And even though the temperature is 92 degrees up here, it's not messing with the frequency here, so that's constant. It seems like it's just throttling with the fan and keeping the processor cool. Well, actually it went up a little bit, 94 degrees instead of 92, and also the fan speed has now a max of 4200, so apparently it can go higher than that. So maybe we don't have a problem here either. And it has completed. Everything is shutting down again. Temperature is going down very fast, and the fan speed is going down as well, 2400 RPM. So it regulates really fast, but it does become rather hot. And now the clock speed has gone down to 800 megahertz. So not sure if it's really throttling. Okay, I've dug up a compressor, and I'm gonna try and help cool down the computer just a little bit. I'm not gonna blow it full speed into the computer while doing this. I'm just gonna give it an extra little cold air. You might know this from physics. When you compress down air, it gives out heat, and when you decompress it again, it will give out cold. So it will actually be cold air that we're gonna push through. Okay, it's running, so I'll give it some air. See if we can keep the temperature down. I'm out of air, or almost. See, now the temperature goes up. I was able to keep the temperature down at about 84 degrees. Now it's at 90 degrees, 91. But the render is done in just a little bit. It didn't really seem like this did much. I still got around 300, and this time I got 357 GB. Wasn't that about the same? See it down here, I've had 56 and 57. That's about identical. So I'm gonna try it again. This time I've brought the compressor in and I've powered it. So I'm gonna try with the other test as well. Get my benchmarking thing here. Yes, please. And this is the one I like. I'll let this gather information and we will try it again, and I'll try and cool it. I think I'll run it once first without any extra cooling. All CPU, go. And the temperature is going up. Yeah, we have been over the 72 degrees a couple of times, so if 72 degrees is where it's throttling, we would have hit that. Okay, we got a score of 4197. It's not fantastic, that's for sure. Okay, the compressor is done charging. It's gonna turn on in the middle of this, so it's gonna be noisy. I'm not gonna be able to talk over it. So we're gonna test all the CPUs again, and I'm gonna be cooling it all. That absolutely did not help. I lost 100 points. That's really weird. The fan really kicked down here. Apparently I've overcooled it, so it doesn't need to run at all. Looks like the temperature is coming up though. I was expecting better results. I tried it again, got kind of similar result. Probably not that. I really thought it would be that. I came across something else. There is some power measurements down here. Right now the package is using 5 watts. The computer is using 21 on the power meter, but this one says it's just under 5 watts. That's probably the processor has maxed out at 45.10 watts. So it might be that the PC can only supply this amount of power to the processor, and the processor does not get the power that it needs, and it might be throttling anyway, doing some other stuff now that it doesn't get enough power. Might be. So I'm gonna try this again, and we'll have a look at the power meter down here. Right now it's drawing 4.5 watts with a maximum of 6 watts, 6.8 watts. So let's try and start the test and have a look at the wattage. 30 watts, 42 watts. So it's not drawing the maximum of 54 watts. It's kind of peaking out at about 42, 43 watts. The CPUs are all at 100%. Clock frequency is as high as it gets. Up here is the voltage of the CPU, 1.151 volts. It seems to be going down to about 0.741 volts. Yeah, it's gone down now. Well, that didn't give any good solution for this problem. The problem is really that the CPU is not performing as well as it should according to the web pages on benchmarking of it. And well, the only thing I can see right now, besides that the lights is totally is that maybe the little tiny machine is not able to power the processor. The power supply on the back is able to power it, but it might not be making enough power to actually run the CPU, because the CPU, we didn't see that above 44 watts. So, and it's a 54 watt processor at maximum. So that it might be that, but well, I think we will just leave it at that. the computer is working perfectly, no problem whatsoever. It's just a tiny bit slower than I had expected it to be. So, but do leave your comments down below what you think, if now you've seen some of the numbers here. And please remember to give this video a like. I've seen how many more likes I get if I do remind you to thumbs up my video. So thank you very much for watching my videos. Do subscribe to my channel if you haven't already done so. And join me over at Google Plus, where I occasionally post pictures of what I'm up to. So have a nice day. Bye bye.